Good morning and welcome back to Coffee with Toffees, guys. Glad to be here with you today on September 17th, 2014. Should be a pretty good laid-back show for you today. If you haven't followed us or seen the show in the past, you can follow me on Twitter at Toffees_Dota2. You can check out the replays over at SoundCloud.com/Toffees_Dota2 or check out our YouTube channel for the live replays. You can also go to Patreon, patreon.com/Toffees, Toffees, to help support the show. We try to keep it grassroots, and the only way that we can do that is with your help. We've already gotten the funding commitments up to $17. We need to hit that $25 a month mark in order to cover our costs. So anything that you can donate, whether it's $1 or just kind words, is always appreciated. If not, just enjoy the show. This morning's show, we've gotten used to having guests almost all the time. The original concept of the show is just a radio morning show for you, just like you get on your drive to work or at the gym. And that means we're not always going to have guests, and today is one of those days where you're stuck with just little old me giving you the news roundup before you start your day. So it should be a short and sweet show, pretty quick and great for your 20-minute cardio session. All right, so let's talk about the news. There's not a ton of it that's happened in the last 2 days. A couple of things have come out. Bruno, who's fairly famous for showing up in TI in all kinds of outrageous outfits, has announced that he is creating a brand new YouTube series for the GD Studio. GD Studio is actually building a new space right now, he says in his newest video, which is why they haven't been around as much as we're used to. But he does say that he is planning a new show. He doesn't know what it's going to be about yet. He's still announcing it, though, and it's going to be just about different things every single week. So it sounds almost like Bruno is making a vlog and just naming it a YouTube show. However, it'll be entertaining because it's Bruno and it always is. So I'll be tuning in. We still don't know when the first episode is going to be coming up, but you can check out the preview episode over on his YouTube site currently. And believe it or not, that is all of the pro news that we have for you today. There haven't been a lot of scandals, individual breakouts, things like that. Honestly, everyone is insanely busy. We had a couple of guests lined up to potentially come on today, and every single one of them came up to me and said, "Hey, Toffees, I have scrims and games starting first thing in the morning all week, basically, because there's so many tournaments going on, and I don't know that I can be on the show or do the time for it." And there's been a couple of teams who've had to say that, and that just goes to tell me that the level of competition in the pro scene right now is just so astronomical that these teams feel like they need to spend the entire day getting ready for these teams, doing prep, doing scrims, doing practices, because they have so many games in one setting. But that does take us on to the tournament news. There's quite a bit of that, as there are so many tournaments. The Bounty Hunter League is back with Season 6. It is not a full season. It's not the typical format, which the last one was 4 teams fighting for a chance at the previous champions. This is sort of a grudge match. It was going to be on the 22nd of September on Monday evening, 12 o'clock afternoon if you're in the EDT time zone like I am. And it's going to be Empire versus Na'Vi, best of 5 for $1,000. So it's just a straight-up bounty hunter shootout between these two teams. So both teams obviously going to take a jump at a one-game $1,000 payout, so why not? And that's going to be a pretty good tournament. Obviously, Pintmuckle will be doing the English language coverage over on Hitbox. So if you do want to watch that on Monday, it should be a good game. Hitbox.tv/Pintmuckle. Otherwise, you will not see it. So that is over on the Hitbox. Number 2, WCA, the World Cyber Arena Champion. We talked about them on Monday with some stuff going on. They said that, there was a little bit of an issue with some of the tournaments and the invites going on. Well, here's the deal. They did release the names of who's being invited to the WCA, and the teams are as follows: Titan, Alliance, Cloud9, Na'Vi, Newbie, VGIG, and LGD. The teams, mysteriously or not so mysteriously, missing from that list are from the Western group, EG, who's currently ranked number 1 in the world after their giant victory last week, and their performances in Star Ladder is not on there, and neither is DK. So both of those rosters not included in that grouping. Now, there was from our sources, and the best that I can tell from my research, DK posted and said that they were invited but chose not to go, as did EG. So EG says that they got invited, said they would not be able to attend, and as a result, one of the other Western teams got the invite. Now, it is interesting that Alliance and Na'Vi are on there, both who have been performing a little bit under what is expected of them, but you got to remember, in the Eastern scene that tends to be fairly self-sufficient, those big names are still going to be very recognizable, so they're going to be great imports. The other interesting one for me is Cloud9, the runners-up to EG in the last major tournament, do get a chance to go out here without EG around and prove that they can be top dogs. So we've talked about that a lot with Cloud9, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Here's a chance for them to take home a large amount of cash from a major tournament, and EG is not there to get in the way. So this should be a pretty good tournament. Titan also showing up, which brings us to the SEA Dragon Battle, which just wrapped up as well. That was a $1,500 tournament for Southeast Asia, and Titan defeated their rival First Departure to take that win. So not bad in the same day to win $1,500 and get invited to the WCA, which is going to be one of the biggest tournaments of the year, very likely. So great job to Titan. Well deserved, in my opinion. Next one, VG beat Newbie to qualify for the ESL 1. So qualifiers are still going for the ESL 1 of elsewhere. Currently, however, it is solidified that out of the Chinese brackets, VG will be attending ESL 1 in New York. Here's the crazy part. They beat them in a 3-0 sweep in a best-of-5 series. They just crushed them. Some folks are saying watch the replays. I honestly didn't think they were that great. The games were good, but at the end of the day, it was a 3-0, and the suspense just wasn't there for me. Next big announcement that we've got is the Brazil game show is going to host Dota 2. So we saw that come out of the Eastern European leagues last week with Game Show, and now we're seeing what looks like is a South American exclusive tournament. This is a big one because they don't happen that often, but not with prize pools this large. So it's a $25,000 prize pool that's going to be put up just for South American teams. The teams that are playing are the Houses Down, Heed, Not Today, Union Gaming, and Asurus Gaming. Interestingly, absent from this list is Union Gaming, which I was very surprised not to see on there, and I don't know why. The reason is I haven't heard anything about it, as this was just announced like less than 17 hours ago. So it's still brand new, but my question is, where is UG? Why aren't they on the list? Is it something to do with the current scandals surrounding them? Hard to tell. I'll probably try to dig into it over the next 2 days and see if we can find out. But that'll be a pretty great tournament. All those teams are very, very evenly matched, and it should be pretty good. All right, so the update, let's go into, actually, before we get to that, 82L. If you guys don't follow North American Amateur Dota, then we'll give you a quick update, because obviously the show is based out of the North American region. Amateur Dota 2 League Legends Series, which is a great platform for up-and-coming teams. A lot of the teams that you see coming into the Tier 2 tournaments, especially for ESL qualifiers, have come out of 82L or used to play there. A $550 tournament that ended with Two Fish taking the win. That used to be called Zuno Doshial and a bunch of other teams. They also won the SCS this week. They're solidifying their roster. I was chatting with the guys on board, and they said that it looks like they want to move into competitive play. So this could be a big springboard to look for Two Fish as they move into the next stage of games. Now, the reason that the final was so notable, besides the fact that Stu Fish did a great job, was that it was cast by Voodoo. If you don't know Voodoo, he is one of the top amateur casters in North America, does a ton of amateur stuff for a lot of the leagues, and he was joined by Sir Action Slacks and Nahaz from Join Dota, so it was actually a pretty powerful cast, 3 big hitters, and it was a lot of fun to watch. Last update in terms of pro games for you guys today is the Star Series is starting to wrap up. A couple of qualifiers are coming up, but most of the teams start to polarize their point totals. For example, Star Ladder America is EG at 18, Na'Vi at 15, and then NT's at 15, and it's not 12. And the rest of the groups are starting to kind of fall away in terms of points. So we're starting to see a solidified top grouping. There was also some massive Star Ladder games this week, but we'll talk about those in just a little while. The China qualifiers are still pretty wide open. Newbie is really shining, though, ahead of their competitors by quite a lot. Now, the big marginalization that we see is Star Ladder Europe, because what we're seeing out of that is Team Secret is at 21, tied with Tinker and Na'Vi. Then you've got Cloud9 at 18. You've got PR and Alliance at 15. And then everyone else is in the single digits. So the groups in the European Star Ladder are really starting to separate themselves. Notable bottom ends are Empire at only 3 points right now, but they've only played 2 games. So that's one of the reasons they can't seem to get their points up. And NVMI, who has been on point and done a lot of great games, is only sitting at 4. So their games today are going to be pretty gosh darn important. And SEA, we'll take a quick look at their brackets. About the same, Titan proving that they're the best team in the SEA in pretty much in every tournament that we've seen them play in. So that is the update on Star Ladder. Now we're going to go to picks of the day. There's a lot of games going on that you guys need to keep your eyes on. My picks for the day as far as good games should go. If you go over to Gozu, they're all listed right there. Everything from Star Ladder to EMC to Join Dota League is going to be going on with some larger teams. We've got Tong Fu versus Hyper Glory. It starts in about, actually I think it's starting right now, and that should be a pretty good game. Also looking at, let me go to the next page here for you guys. Also definitely looking at Root versus Navi US. I think that Navi US has a massive advantage, but I think that Root could potentially pull out some good pocket play here in the ESL1 qualifiers and catch them off guard. But the pick of the day for me, the one that I'm going to watch myself that I think should be really, really good, is going to be NVMI versus Team Tinker. I think that's going to be the best game of the day. Now, does that mean that's my bet choice of the game? It's not. My choice for your bets and possible returns is going to be coming in at, let's scroll down to it. We're going to say PR versus Na'Vi. So in my opinion, Na'Vi has been a little bit, actually a lot of it off their game over the last week or two. PR is very aggressive and likes deathball style of play. And I think that Na'Vi has struggled to include Dendi into their new style. And we watched it a couple of days ago where he just sort of was having trouble sinking into the sort of deathball stop team play style of drafts, and PR will try to exploit that. So if anyone's going to pull a pocket strat that can possibly beat a powerhouse, it's going to be PR over Na'Vi today. That said, I still think Navi's going to take the win, but it's not going to be as easy as 86-14 that Dota Lounge is handing out the stats. So, guys, I appreciate you being here this morning. I also put together, and this is a fun one, my VOD picks for you guys. I think that there's some games that deserve watching that a lot of folks haven't had a chance to see just yet. And if you missed them, you can go check out the new BVG finals last night. A lot of folks are saying that they were definitely worth a watch. I think it was a 3-0 sweep, so it wasn't as exciting as I would have liked it to have been. That said, it was a good VOD and some great drafting, so go check that out. More importantly, the 2 games that I think have to be watched. And the first one is SNA versus Navi US. That was an amazing Star Ladder game that took place yesterday. And when you watch it, I don't want you to be fooled, because in the video, in the VOD, about 6 minutes in, Blaze, one of the casters, says, if you're watching this VOD, go watch SNA versus EG instead, because that was also an awesome game. Base race, the fireworks, all the good stuff, lots of fun. I won't spoil it so you can watch it, but you should. But don't be fooled by him saying that, because SNA versus Navi US was just as good, if not better, in my opinion. Both phenomenal games, both living into that best of one of Star Ladder. Definitely something to check out. I think you should watch those VODs. They're all very good. But that's it for today. Short, sweet, and compact. The best kind of show for you. Easy to download, easy to upload. My name again is Toffees. I appreciate you joining me here this morning. You can follow me at Toffees_Dota2. The VODs will be up on YouTube, SoundCloud, RSS, and podcast later today. And of course, remember, the only way to keep the show going, to help us get better guests, to bring on a producer who can help me find guests on short notice when we get canceled on, and to keep growing and keep out the advertising, go to patreon.com, patreon.com/Toffees, and give what you can. If it's a compliment, that helps keep us going. If it's feedback, that lets us know what we can do better. And if it's $1 or $5 or more or whatever you want, That helps us keep the show running. You'll notice we have brand new overlays thanks to some fans who got on board and said, hey, I couldn't donate monetarily, but I used my design skills to really help take the show to the next level, and they really did. So that said, guys, we appreciate you all being here today. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. I'm going to cut the stream and then come back with some music as we do the uploads. So have a great day, play Dota, and as always, Toffees out.